Hello and have a good day to Madam Sheila. As we know, now we are having coronavirus disease outbreak in 2019 or COVID-19. Until today, it has bring many effect to many sectors. We are from Good Six going to discuss the effect of COVID-19 in sport sector.
First of all, impact of COVID-19 on sport event is existence of sport federation organization has bring great in organizing the sport event. Government has provide sport federation, clubs and organization around the world. This new organization is to ensure that sport event can proceed without thinking of the pandemic issue. The establishments of these sport federations are to gain belief from the athlete or even the organizer to hold the sport event without questioning pandemic issue while conducting the sport event. This international protocol that would apply to future sport event in these pandemic situations means that the establishment of the sport federation or organization can be applied in the future events. Moreover, existence of sport federation will allow the stakeholder to work cooperatively as a team to overcome this global issue. Existence of sport federation organization will attract the sport event investor or sponsorship to enhance and develop the economy in conducting the sport events. Basically, the purpose of the establishment or existence of the sport federation is to make sure that sports are safe in the future and enjoyable for all.
Hi, my name is Nur Fitri binti Aziz and I will present about point 2, which is the impact can be felt in physical activity and well-being of sport athletes. Firstly, closure of gyms, stadiums, pools, dance and fitness studios, parks and playground will limit the space for athletes to practice as they cannot go out due to coronavirus. So, all they can do is practice from home, which will cost them a lot as they really need to focus and divide their time wisely for the family and work. Other than that, athletes are unable to actively participate in regular activities that they usually did before the pandemic occurred. Usually, they have to attend a conference or getting a coaching face-to-face from their coach. However, they cannot do that as the government has limited the movement of people, and all they can do is getting a coaching or attending from online platforms in order to keep them connected and continually getting themselves a good practices. Worstly, irregular sleep patterns was diet resulted in weight gain and loss in physical fitness of athletes, thus will affect their physical performance. As we all know, during the CMCO, people cannot do their usual activities and all they can do is stay at home, so the tendency of gaining weight is higher and it is the worst thing that should happen to athletes as they have to maintain fit and healthy for their competition. So we can conclude that the pandemic really affect the community, mostly for the athletes as their practice include many people as they work together, and obviously the sport management will have to prepare a lot in order for them to keep their athletes fit and healthy after the pandemic is over.
Hello, good day. In addition, wearing face masks also can affect the health problems. In this pandemic of COVID-19, every time that we want to go out, we are outside, and when we do physical activity, we also need to secure our distance, social distancing, and also wearing the face mask. So wearing face mask during exercise can affect the health problem. What are the problems or the impacts of wearing face mask during exercise? Firstly, body can't function well. This is which leads to sympathetic nervous system. This is gonna make someone having heavy breathing, or another means that they became hard to breathe. The nervous system is getting distracted from the body, because when someone is hard to breathe, normally the body can't function well because the nervous system became sympathetic and it became very poor. Secondly, wearing face masks during exercise can lead to skin irritation. How is this gonna happen? When you wear a face mask during exercise, you do jogging, you do netball, or play football, or anything else in sport. So when we do physical activity, our face gonna be sweating a lot. The sweaty face is gonna make the bacteria on the face and the excess sebum added together, and it's gonna lead to acne or breakouts on your skin. Because when you have skin irritated, you need to go and see a doctor, you need to go see the dermatologist, and you're also gonna consume your very high cost to make your skin better again. Next, in this article, they test a few people or a group of people to test the heart rate, whether it is different with or without wearing face mask during the exercise. So it shows that the heart rate is different between people with and without face mask. The heart rate of people wearing face masks is higher than the heart rate of people without face masks. Why? It is because the nervous system became sympathetic, as my first point before, and it became distracted with the heavy breather. Imagine when someone hold your face like this when you are doing exercise. As we know, when doing exercise, we really need oxygen that we can breathe. But when we're wearing face mask, it's gonna lead to very difficult on breathing. We're not gonna get the good air. It's gonna block our respiratory. When our respiratory is blocked, so the heart rate can be higher than normal. When the heart rate higher, so it gonna make our body sweat a lot. If people had asthma, make them more difficult to breathe, and the exercise is gonna be exhausted because they cannot get enough fresh air. So because of this, the heart rate with or without wearing face mask is different. My last point is wearing face mask during exercise effect of uncomfortable feeling of dyspnea. What is dyspnea? Dyspnea is a term used on medical terms, which is shortness of breath, or as known as air hunger. People are tend to be short of breath when they wear a face mask during the exercise. Why? Because the face mask is blocking the air from entering your body, and the respiratory system is not going to function really well. It's gonna lead to fatigue feelings, anxiety. It doesn't matter how old are you, when you have shortness of breath or dyspnea, the exercise you make is gonna make you really exhausted. Normally people will feel pain on their chest because they are really hard to breathe with the face mask on. Thank you.
Okay, so we proceed with our next main point, which is tract infection and gastrointestinal infection for athletes are the impact of COVID-19. Intensive and prolonged physical exertions has been linked with an open window of impaired immunity up to 72 hours of the exercise. The coronavirus is a respiratory pathogen, and previous study has shown that the risk of upper respiratory tract infections was almost 6 times more likely in endurance race. This shows that coronavirus disease give major effects to the athletes. Meanwhile, the virus was found in the stool sample and the contaminated environments. This may affect the outdoor sport events. This does not affect the athlete, but affect all the community around it, such as staff, the managers, and many more. In focus of this infection affect athletic performance, but lies in the assessment of the risk of the player. Sport events should measure how to reduce the risk of transmission, such as sanitize their hands oftenly, drink a lot of water, and avoid hugging, shouting, or unnecessary proximity to others. This will help to reduce the risk of transmission among the athletes or even the community around it.
Okay, for the next point is COVID-19 has brought potential long-term impact on the professional sport ecosystem. The first supporting details that can support my main point is, according to Deloitte 2020, the postponement of many sport events has been made. This is because to avoid the vast spreading of coronavirus by following the social distancing set by the government. Then, the commercial relationship will be disrupted. This is because when there is no competition or no sport event, there will also be no sponsors. And when the situation is back to the normal, it will be hard for the manager to find any sponsors because the relationship engagement is not strong enough. Loyalty from fans will slowly fade, and this will both affect the physical and mental of the athletes because it is important to have a loyal fans that give unlimited supports. And for the last one is Deloitte 2020 also stated that this will lead to the closure of stadiums and sport venues.
COVID-19 also affect sport business. This is when the current unique situation is putting stress and strain on sport organization and will continue to do so in coming months as organization face the challenge like firstly on how managing cash flow which are closely planned to establish calendar that are no longer relevant. This is mean that the COVID-19 pandemic has caused the most significant disruption to the worldwide sporting calendar since this pandemic spread out. Across the world, sports events have been cancelled or postponed, like for example, the 2020 Summer Olympic in Tokyo 2020 were rescheduled to 2021, and this made the organization need to rearrange the new cash flow to the new dates event, and this also the organization will also suffer losses as a result of this rescheduling. Then, enticing fans to return to stadium and venue with the threat of additional outbreak and societal uncertainty. This means that the limited return of fans is a small step but a very significant one. This is because the findings suggest that reopening stadium with the reduced capacity is unlikely to reduce rate of transmission on its own without effective social distancing measure for fans before, during and after matches. The challenge from this, even when stadiums are only partial filled, fans tend to pack together in groups. They also mix in toilets and queues, as well as in shop and restaurant outside the venue. Okay, then they travel long distance around the country to attend to the venue, often in group and on public transport. This behavior presents an effective route for airborne virus to spread and is no less prevalent with smaller crowd. In addition, the challenge is in ensuring the relationship between athletes and fans are protected. As related to the previous explanation, the closure of stadium and the venue will make the fans will not have spirit to give support as they cannot see their beloved athlete physically, and this will lead to the relationship between athlete and fans will be apart. So the sport organization need to find the best way as to make sure the loyalty fans toward the teams and athlete itself will be always protected. As for example, the organization need to manage their times to organize the virtual meet like Facebook or Instagram Live, Google Meet, Zoom and so on with the fans in order to make sure their relationship will be protected. Plus, the challenge is on resuming global operations, possibly in countries still struggling with the outbreaks. This is an epidemic that could become a global pandemic. So, COVID-19 is no exception to all countries over the world, but there comes with different number of cases as they look on how the country managed to overcome this. The challenge is happen when the international sport event such as Olympic is quite hard in resuming this event as they don't know each athlete has status that may be harm to everyone. This one of the big challenge from the impact of the COVID-19 for the sport industry.
Furthermore, COVID-19 has also effect on cost control of financial crisis. To support my main point, Garcia 2020 has stated that negotiation on reduction of salaries has happened. This is because the financial team worries that they could not bear with the current financial crisis that happened now. And also, there is some football leagues and federation have established a fund for the members. Next, there is also labor market intervention with the union. This is in order to minimize the chance of subsequent legal actions. This also gives pressure for the existing sport regulation when they have to follow the new norm that requires them to change the regulations, and the process to change the regulation might incur some expensive cost to them and they might be out of the budget. Last but not least, the development of alternative structure can be disturbed. This might command the destruction of national league into the regional entities. We all know when there is changes, the budget allocation might be different and the financial crisis will be happen.
Next, point 8, which is Alternative Dispute Resolution, ADR in sports. What is meant by ADR? It is the method of solving the disputes without litigation, which are without taking any legal action. In order to avoid litigation, most management will apply ADR in any disputes. ADR procedures are usually less costly and more expeditious. It also often collaborative and allow parties to understand each other's positions, such as disposition that occur throughout the world that limit the programs and activities of any organization. Thus, ADR also allows the parties to come up with more creative solutions that a court may not be legally allowed to impose. The effect of COVID-19 to sports is double action of ADR in sports must be done. First, the entire process had to remodel and in order to allow for a fully online paperless procedure that include more flexible time limits and a shift towards electronic filings, online hearings and remote deliberations. Second, the pandemic has created an even greater need for flexible solutions to legal problems, and this will likely lead to an increased use of negotiation, conciliation and mediation in resolving disputes. Also, essential structures of an ADR system need to be rapidly modified. Numerous sports tribunals and arbitral tribunals have already issued guidelines and protocols in order to adapt to this new reality. These include the use of already existing but previously underutilized software to establish new methods for filing submission, as well as the use of electronic hearing bundles for or free hearing protocol and online hearings. However, conducting online hearings carries some risks and poses some challenges that are inherently linked to the outlying character of the procedure, including issues relating to confidentiality, data security, connectivity, and meeting with the clients or among arbitrary. The sporting world nevertheless seems to have adapted rapidly to this new way of resolving disputes. That's all from me. Thank you.
As the conclusion, this article comprises all the impact on sport during this COVID-19, which is it impacts many individuals, especially athletes and sports management. Hence, the impact of this pandemic of COVID-19 has bring very serious issue on the governments, on the nations. That's all from us. Thank you.